For centuries, the Caribbean has been known as paradise, a sea of blue, scattered with islands like floating gems. But what if I told you that not all of them still exist? Look closely at the maps of history, and you'll find islands that vanished, some swallowed by the sea, others erased by storms, or forgotten by time itself. These are the 10 lost islands of the Caribbean, where history, myth, and mystery collide beneath the waves. Let's uncover what happened to the islands the world forgot. Number 10. Fonseca Island, the phantom east of Barbados. We begin our journey with an island that appeared on maps for over 200 years and then disappeared completely. In 1500, explorers marked an island east of Barbados called Fonseca. Sailors claimed to have seen it. Merchants recorded its coordinates. It was said to be small, green, and rich with coconut palms, a perfect Caribbean stopover. But by the mid-1800s, Fonseca was gone. British and American expeditions searched its exact coordinates. They found nothing. No reef, no sandbar, only deep ocean. Some historians believe Fonseca was a mirage created by cloud shadows on the sea. Others say it sank suddenly, destroyed by a volcanic eruption from the seabed. Today, Fonseca lives only on old maps, a reminder that not everything charted by explorers was ever truly found. Number 9. Kantia, the mysterious island below the Tropic of Cancer. In 1884, a German merchant named Johann Otto Poulter reported a strange island at the 14th circle of latitude. He named it Kantia, after his homeland. For years, newspapers wrote about this new discovery. Maps labeled it as a small landmass somewhere in the southern Caribbean. But when expeditions tried to locate it, Kantia had vanished. No trace of land, no shallow seabed, nothing. Modern scientists suspect Poulter may have sighted a floating pumice field or even sargassum weed, which, under sunlight, can look like land from a distance. Still, to this day, no one knows what he truly saw. Kantia remains one of the Caribbean's great phantom islands, a place that existed until it didn't. Number 8. The Isle of Demons, where sailors feared to land centuries ago. Early maps of the North Atlantic showed a strange, dark island near the Caribbean routes, marked with warnings and horns drawn on its edges. This was the Isle of Demons. Sailors swore it was cursed, that strange voices called out from the fog, and that ships that got too close would vanish. In reality, historians now think the Isle of Demons may have been a misplaced drawing of Newfoundland or another northern island, accidentally plotted too far south, but to early explorers, it was very real. Ships avoided it for decades. The Isle of Demons became a symbol of fear, proof that even in paradise, the sea hides secrets that men were not meant to find. Number 7. Bermeja Island, the island Mexico lost. It wasn't just a myth. Bermeja was on official maps for 400 years, minus until it vanished from sight. Located north of the Yucatan Peninsula, Bermeja appeared in records as early as 1539. Spanish explorers wrote about its red soil and rocky shores. But when the Mexican government sent researchers to locate it in 1997, Bermeja was gone. Some say rising sea level swallowed it. Others claim it never existed at all, that early mapmakers drew it based on rumors. A few conspiracy theories even suggest it was intentionally erased because its position affected Mexico's offshore oil boundaries with the U.S. Whatever the truth, Bermeja became one of the most politically charged lost islands in modern history. Number 6. Port Royal, Jamaica, the sunken city of gold and sin. Once called the richest and wickedest city in the world, today, half of it lies underwater. In the 1600s, Port Royal was the center of Caribbean piracy. Gold, rum, and danger filled its streets. But on June 7, 1692, everything changed. A massive earthquake and tsunami struck Jamaica. Within minutes, 2/3 of Port Royal sank beneath the waves. Hundreds drowned. The rest fled inland. Today, divers explore the ruins under the sea, perfectly preserved streets, taverns, and coins. A Caribbean Atlantis buried in silence. It's one of the only underwater cities in the Western Hemisphere, a chilling reminder of how quickly paradise can be lost. Number 5. Aves Island Chain. The sinking ridges of the sea, near the heart of the Caribbean Sea, lies a chain of reefs and rocks known as Aves, once larger, now slowly disappearing. In the 17th century, Aves was recorded as a cluster of small islands, home to seabirds and turtle nests. But rising tides and hurricanes have reduced it to a single tiny strip of sand, just 1 mile long. Scientists warn that within decades, Aves may vanish entirely, the victim of relentless erosion and climate change. Yet it remains geopolitically important, claimed by Venezuela, guarded by its navy, and surrounded by rich fishing waters. Aves proves that some lost islands don't vanish all at once. They fade away, piece by piece, until only a memory remains. Number 4. Serranilla Bank, the island nobody knows who owns, hidden far out in the Caribbean Sea. Halfway between Jamaica and the coast of Central America lies a place that's part island, part reef, and part mystery. This is Serranilla Bank, one of the most disputed and forgotten territories in the entire Caribbean. On modern maps, it's a faint smudge of green surrounded by endless blue. But centuries ago, sailors feared it. They called it the Shallow Death, because hundreds of ships wrecked upon its invisible reefs, especially during hurricanes. Early explorers once thought it was a cluster of small islands dotted with palm trees. But as the years passed and storms intensified, most of Serranilla sank below the waves, leaving behind just a few patches of sand and coral. Today, the only permanent presence is a tiny Colombian outpost, a lonely lighthouse, and a handful of soldiers who rotate every few months. No civilians, no villages, just ocean, sky, and silence. Yet Serranilla remains a geopolitical puzzle. It's claimed by 4 nations, the United States, Nicaragua, Honduras, and Colombia, all drawn by the vast oil and fishing rights that surround it. But none of them truly live there. None have built a thriving settlement. So Serranilla Bank stands as a symbol of the Caribbean's forgotten frontiers, a place not lost to nature alone, but lost to neglect, dispute, and time itself. It's the island everyone claims, and yet no one truly owns. Number 3. Caribdis Island, the forgotten colonial outpost. The Caribbean's colonial maps were full of secrets, and one of them was a place called Caribdis. Mentioned in Spanish naval logs from the 1600s, Caribdis was described as a lush green island somewhere near the Lesser Antilles, filled with strange birds and tall forests. Ships reported anchoring off its coast, trading with passing vessels, even collecting fresh water. But after the early 1700s, Caribdis vanished from every map. No ship could find it again. No chart showed its shape. It was as if the ocean had swallowed it whole. Historians have 2 theories. The first, that Caribdis was simply a cartographic mistake, a copy of another island like Guadeloupe or Dominica, misplaced by hand-drawn mapmakers who had no satellites, no compasses that worked perfectly near the equator, and no idea how massive the Caribbean really was. But the second theory is darker. Some believe Caribdis may have been a small volcanic island that erupted violently sometime in the 17th century, collapsing into the sea, much like Krakatoa would centuries later. The Caribbean sits on a line of hidden volcanic ridges, and geologists have found signs of ancient eruptions near where Caribdis was last recorded. If that's true, then Caribdis didn't just fade from the record. It was obliterated by fire and water, leaving behind only ripples in both sea and history. A name once inked on paper, now erased by the ocean's hand. Number 2. Isla Verde, the island that slipped beneath the waves close to the northern shores of Puerto Rico. There are nights when fishermen say they can still see it, a shadow under the moonlight rising just beneath the surface. They call it Isla Verde, the Green Island. Old Spanish records from the 1700s mention a tiny island visible only at low tide, where sailors once stopped four coconuts and sea turtles. But as the years went by, sightings grew fewer. Then one stormy summer, it was gone. Local stories tell of a massive hurricane, a wall of water that rose so high it swallowed the entire island overnight. When the storm cleared, nothing was left, not even a rock above the surface. Today, marine biologists diving in the area report unusual coral formations, long, flat ridges that almost resemble foundations or stone walls. Some think it's a natural reef. Others whisper that these could be the remains of Isla Verde's drowned landmass. It's a mystery no one can prove, but one the sea refuses to fully hide. Every now and then, during extremely low tides, the tip of a sandbar appears, only to sink again hours later. Locals say it's the island trying to return, the last breath of land before it disappears forever. A green island once bright under the Caribbean sun, now a ghost beneath the waves. Number 1. The Lost Ridge of Beata, the Caribbean's hidden Atlantis. Before the islands we know today, before Jamaica, Hispaniola, or Cuba, there was another land, an ancient world, that now sleeps miles beneath the sea. This is the story of the Beata Ridge, a massive underwater mountain chain stretching between Jamaica and the Dominican Republic. Modern sonar and geological mapping reveal that thousands of years ago, this ridge stood above the ocean's surface, forming a series of islands that connected parts of the Greater Antilles. Scientists believe it may have been a thriving ecosystem, home to now extinct animals, and perhaps even early human communities before sea levels rose after the last ice age. As glaciers melted, oceans expanded, and the Caribbean basin flooded. Slowly, the ridge slipped beneath the waves, its forests drowned, its valleys filled, and its mountains turned into seamounts. Some geologists call it the Caribbean's own Atlantis, not a myth but a real geological continent fragment, lost to time. Even today, divers exploring the Beata Ridge report bizarre formations, terraced rock ledges, and flat plateaus that look uncannily like eroded steps or roads. Though no evidence of civilization has been confirmed, the shapes stir imaginations across the world. Could early humans have once walked these lands? Could lost species still lie preserved beneath the sediment? No one truly knows. What we do know is that the Beata Ridge holds the memory of an entire world that vanished when the sea took its final breath. It is the Caribbean's silent witness, proof that even whole continents can disappear without leaving a single trace. The Caribbean we know today, the islands, the beaches, the life, is only the surface of something far greater. Beneath these waters lie worlds long forgotten, places where people once lived, traded, and dreamed, now buried under miles of blue silence. Some were wiped away by storms, some swallowed by volcanoes. Others never existed at all, ghosts born of human imagination and ancient maps. But whether myth or memory, each of these lost islands tells a story of exploration, greed, faith, and fear, the unending human desire to draw the unknown. And so, the next time you fly over the Caribbean, look down. Somewhere beneath those waves lie the forgotten lands of paradise, the islands that time could not keep. Why these 10 Caribbean islands were lost, written and narrated by Adventure Chuckles. Subscribe for more Caribbean mysteries and forgotten history.